graph y equals -3 times the sine of x. So as we look at this, what looks a little bit different is that a value out in front is actually negative. And so what does that mean for our graph? Well, we start out by identifying the amplitude. A lot of people want to say that the amplitude is a -3 because that's that a value out there. But what we want to remember when we first learned about this, amplitude is defined as the absolute value of that a value in the equation. So the a value is a -3, so the absolute value of a -3 is just a 3. Amplitude will always be a positive number. Please don't put a negative in front of your amplitude number because you will be marked off for that. Amplitude measures the distance from the x-axis to the maximum or minimum values on your graph, and distance is always a positive measurement. So amplitude is 3. Now the fact that our a value is negative, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but the other thing we want to have for our graph is the period, 2 pi over b, and our b value is right in front of the x, which is just a 1, so 2 pi over 1 or just 2 pi. Now if your a value is negative, because a is a -3, that actually means that we will have a reflection in our graph. And I will show you what a reflection looks like. So this is a sine graph. Reflection doesn't affect where a sine graph starts. It still will start at the origin. Period is 2 pi, so we go out 2 pi, that's where the cycle ends, our middle spot. So where we hit the x-axis is not affected by the reflection. Now typically sine functions have that shape. What a reflection will do, it actually will flip that, and instead of going up, it's going to go down. It reflects it over the x-axis. So with an amplitude of 3, if I go halfway in between, I'm going to go down to a -3 instead. So the graph will have this shape. That's what a reflection will look like for our sine graphs. Halfway between pi and 2 pi, I go up to a +3, and there's our graph. We actually don't have any shifting, so those are the points that we want for our graph. And there's one cycle for the sine. I can go to the left and get another cycle up here. So this is how we do a sine graph with a reflection.